So, as we discussed, it actually means murder. It's the unlawful killing or harming of another person, not killing in general. So let's take these examples that they've thrown out one at a time. And I want you to respond to each one and explain where they've gone wrong. So first of all, they mention war. You can't apply the fifth commandment because we allow war. And she mentions, for example, the Crusades.
Yeah, if you look at, and this is where a perfect example is found in the Old Testament with the conquest for the Holy Land. God commanded the Jewish people, his chosen people Israel, to slaughter a whole lot of people. And this was an act of war against ungodly nations. So if you say that the fifth commandment also includes a prohibition against war, then God contradicts himself. He's no longer perfect God, and you have no chance of salvation because God is in fact evil if he justifies murder. So the fifth commandment cannot apply to war. Now, I would say that the fifth commandment applies to war in the event that the war is unjust and targets the innocent.
That's where I was going to go next. What is just war theory, and where does that concept come from?
Just war theory, there are a lot of sources for that going back to antiquity. Augustine wrote about it, Luther wrote about it, but in essence, just war is when the purpose of the war or the outcome of that war seeks to accomplish is for a righteous purpose. So, for example, you had the 30 Years' War where the Roman Catholic Empire tried to completely destroy the Reformation and those who had embraced the teachings of Luther. And in essence, it was a just war on behalf of the Lutherans who were fighting in those wars, because they were trying to free themselves from the tyranny of the papacy that sought to destroy them. You had the Smalcaldic Wars as well. Same thing. I don't remember what episode it was. This is going back probably 2-3 years, but we talked about the Magdeburg Confession.
Right.
Where the city of Magdeburg was basically under siege by the Roman Empire, by the papacy in essence, and they fought back. So those are just, I guess, some examples for what a just war is, but it's
World War II, for example, or that's probably the best example from modern warfare.
Yes and no.
I mean, from the Allied.
Oh, sure. I mean, you can get into all the philosophical arguments about it. If the purpose of our entrance into the war was to destroy the Axis forces because they were evil and were taking innocent life, then yes. This begs the question, if wars that are entered into for political reasons, can those be just wars? And I think World War II is a good example because in general, the population of the United States was supportive of entering into that war because they saw what was happening to the Jewish people, despite the fact that the New York Times tried to hide it. So
just like you can't apply kill in broad strokes, the prohibition against killing in broad strokes, you can't apply war and say, well, we allow war. War's okay. It's not always okay.
Right.
It's killing in certain instances. It's war in certain instances, and it's based on the morality of the killing, the morality of the war.
Right.